Direbats are one of the biggest difficulty spikes in No Return Low percent, because normally killing them only requires you to be patient, but here it's much harder to read them and to execute the strat. So in this video I want to go over how parities work in No Return, and then I'll be explaining how to kill the Direbats safely. Now the way I like to explain No Return parities is to bring out the bishops from chess, because you have the light square bishop and the dark square bishop, and those two can never overlap. The light square one is always going to be on the light tiles, and the dark square one is always going to be on the dark tiles. And the reason I think this is somewhat relevant here is because the bat is moving every 2 beats, right? And when you're dancing in No Return, you're dancing between these 4 tiles. So it takes 4 beats to complete 1 cycle, which means that the bat is moving twice per cycle. So when I do half of my cycle here, the bat will have moved once to one of the... sorry, I misclicked. One of these tiles, one of these 4. Like so. And then when I return to my original square, the bat will have moved back into one of the loot tiles. And this is never going to change. So I can continue doing the cycle, and it's going to keep... Like, yeah, now he's on the loot tile, now he's on the light tile, now he's on the loot tile, now he's on the light tile. Now, you can shift the parity by simply, instead of doing a 2x2, you want to do a 2x3 once, like this. And what this means is that you make it to this original tile 2 beats later, which means now the cycle is backwards. So now when I move away from the bat, he's going to be on the loot tile, and now he's on the light tile, and now he's on the loot tile, and now he's on the light tile. And again, if I want to switch back, I can do another 2x3. And now once again, when I move away, he's on the light tile, and now he's on the loot tile. So that's how you can adjust parities in No Return. Now, when fighting a Direbat, the first thing you need to look for is a tile where when you move away from the bat moves, which is fairly similar to what you would look for in normal low percent, but it's just in like a 4-tile loop instead of a 2-tile loop. So yeah, in this case I can pick this tile, and yeah, when I move away from the bat moves. So this works. Now, there are 2 parities, like I explained earlier. There's the one where the bat and myself are lined up, and then there's the other one where we are not lined up. Now he's on the light tile, and I'm on the loot tile. And this is the one that you don't want. So if I keep doing this, I mean, I can't really... I guess I can do this. I can move the bat to try to force him to cooperate. But as you can see, like, this is not going to line up, because the idea of this is to... Okay, this guy is not cooperating. The idea of this is to force the bat into walking into this tile on the beat that we tried to move into it, which lets us get a free hit in. And as you can see, it doesn't line up when you're on this parity. So you're never going to be able to get a hit like that. So what you do is you want to search for this parity where the bat is lined up diagonally. You can also count the squares. There's got to be an odd amount of squares between you and the bat. I prefer to look at the diagonals. Like, if on the beat you move away, the bat is lined up with you diagonally, then that means you're on the good parity. And now we can wait for him to get in there. Well, you can see it right there. If the bat had cooperated, it would have gotten hit. Okay, we can once again move him. And yeah, so in this case, if he were to move left when I move down, me trying to move to the right would automatically hit him. So that's what you want. In this case, he didn't cooperate, but you get the idea. We can keep doing it until, yeah, he's not really cooperating, but yeah, this is all like here. When I move down, he could move up and walk into me, but he's not really doing it. Because bats are like that. There we go. And yeah, that allows you to hit him for free without needing to do any reacting. Now, if you don't want to look at the diagonals or count tiles, another thing you can do is, if you know how the knight moves in chess, you can also kind of look for that. So in this case, for example, the bat right now is ready to move, but he's 1 knight move away, which means this is not the right parity. Yeah, it's not going to line up, as you can see. So I would have to do this to adjust. And yeah, now it's no longer knights move away. So this is the right parity. And it would eventually cooperate probably. And yeah, we can show that again. Like right here, for example, he's knights move away. He would be knights move away here as well, and here. And yeah, this is never going to line up. So what we'd have to do is move like this, and then he would eventually cooperate like that. Now, something worth mentioning is that once you find your tile, even if the bat moves to like the right side here, it's still fine because, you know, right now I'm not moving away from the bat, but you can simply go left instead, and that, you know, lines it up just fine. What matters is that you get to this tile in the same amount of beats. So right now he went to the left, so I want to go right, and now he's going right, so I want to go left, and so on until he cooperates, which usually takes a while, but yeah, it is a consistent way to take them out. Now, something that will be happening in runs very frequently is that you will not have a lot of space to deal with the Direbats. Especially gold, the gold really gets in the way. So let's say we have a gold pile here, and this is my tile. As you can see, I'm lined up diagonally, which means I don't need to adjust my parity. And I just have to, yeah, just wait here. And the problem with this is that now the bat can move here. And if he does that, which he didn't this time, but let's pretend he did. Now this is a problem because I can't continue doing my cycle. So when you have a tile next to a wall or a gold tile like this, you need to have your hand on the throw key at all times. And if something like this happens, then you just, once you step up, you throw down and you retrieve your dagger and start over. And that's that. Now it also advises against placing decapped skeletons next to walls and such. Just in general, don't kill things next to walls, because then you might lose your dagger. And if you do kill a skeleton next to a wall, I would recommend digging the wall if possible, if it's a dirt wall. That way, when you throw, you're not going to lose your dagger. Now, an advanced strategy I like is trying to find this type of setup where I'm essentially a knight's move away from the bat, and the bat's about to move. And what this lets me do is it lets me move up and then pre-move right, for example. And then two things can happen. When I pre-move to the right, when I say pre-move, I just mean like, no matter what the bat does, I'm going to be moving right. I'm not going to be reacting. It's just what I'm always going to do. So when I move right, two things can happen. Either the bat will have moved down, in which case it's going to take a free hit, or it will have moved either left or right, in which case, yeah, now I'm set up properly. I get the exact parity I want, and yeah, you can see that he cooperated there. I can show that again. In this case, I'm going to move up and left, and yeah, in this case, I got the free hit. But if that wasn't the case, like here, for example, well, okay, he still cooperated, sadly. So I don't really get to show it. Hold on. There we go. So here, I'm going to be moving up and then up again. And yeah, as you can see now, I'm on the right parity. And I just have to wait. So yeah, it's nice because if he cooperates, you get a free hit. And if he doesn't, you get the perfect parity, the parity you want. And also, you're very close to it. So it's more likely to walk into you, since it doesn't have to travel that far to get to you. But it is a little bit advanced, so I would probably advise against doing this, unless you've already practiced regular Direbat fights enough. Now, bats are not Direbats, of course, but I feel like I may as well include them, just to make this a little bit more complete. So the first thing is, obviously, the parity you look for against Direbats also works here, since it allows you to get a free hit on them. And yeah, the same thing works here. But the nice thing is that the other parity also works. So in this case, I would be lined up with him, but I can do this to adjust it. And you can see that now he's on the other parity. And this one would not work with a Direbat, but it is fine with a normal bat. Because what will happen is that when I move up here, he's going to be in one of these tiles. So this gives you more chances for the bat to move into a favorable position. And also, instead of having him walk into you while you're doing your squares, you can simply hit him. Like, you can react to it in 2 beats and hit him, and that makes it easier to not walk into the gold. So let's see if he does it. Yeah, there we go. So in this case, you know, you can just walk up and then right. You get 2 beats to react, so it's not too difficult. And yeah, it's a little bit more likely to work out than the Direbat because either tile works. So yeah, you can do either parity for normal bats, but the one opposite of the one you want for Direbats is a little bit nicer, in my opinion. But either one works.